In this video, we're learning how to solve two-step inequalities. So if you guys haven't already done so, I suggest you watch our other video that is just solving one-step inequalities before you watch this video. If you've already watched that video, then we're ready to jump in. So if we look at the top of our screen, it says solve inequalities the same way you solve equations. But remember to flip the inequality sign when you multiply or divide both sides of the inequality by a negative number. So hopefully you guys remember from our other video of solving one-step inequalities that if you multiply or divide both sides of the inequality by a negative number, you have to flip that inequality sign. And I'll show you guys, I'll give you guys a refresher when we work through some of these problems. So let's jump into number 1, which is 3x minus 5 is greater than or equal to 10. So we're going to solve this the same way as we solve an equation. So our goal is to isolate x. So we want to do reverse order of operations. So we're going to start by adding 5 to both sides of our equation, both sides of our inequality. On the left side, the minus 5 and plus 5 go to 0, so we're left with 3x. And on the right side, 10 plus 5 is 15. So we have 3x is greater than or equal to 15. And now we need to divide both sides by 3. On the left side, 3 over 3 is 1, so we're left with 1x, which is just x. So we have x is greater than, and on the right side, 15 over 3 is 5. So we get that x is greater than or equal to 5. And a lot of times we need to graph our solution on a number line, so I'll just do that quickly. So I'm just going to put 5 and put one number above it, 6, and one number below, 4. And now because x can equal 5, right, it can be greater than or equal to 5, we're going to put a closed circle on 5. We want x to be greater than or equal, so we're going to shade to the right. If we take a look at example 2, we have negative 4a plus 7 is less than 35. So again, reverse order of operations tells us to subtract 7 from both sides first because it's being added to the left side. On the left side, we're left with a negative 4a. And on the right side, 35 minus 7 is going to give us 28. And now to get rid of this negative 4 that's being multiplied, we have to divide both sides of our inequality by negative 4. And this is where we need to remember our rule about dividing or multiplying by negative numbers. So because I'm dividing both sides by a negative, I have to flip my inequality sign. So I'm going to do that first. Now on the left, negative 4 divided by negative 4 is a positive 1, so we're left with 1a, which is just a. And on the right, 28 divided by negative 4 is negative 7. So I get that a is greater than negative 7. And let's just graph this quickly on a number line. So I'll put negative 7, negative 8, and negative 6 over here. Because a cannot equal negative 7, we're going to put an open circle at negative 7. But we want it to be greater, so we're going to shade to the right. Let's go through some more examples. So example 3 is 12 minus m over 2 is greater than 4. So we want to get rid of this positive 12 on the left side first. So we're going to subtract 12 from both sides of our equation. On the left side, 12 minus 12 is 0, so we're left with negative m over 2. And on the right side, 4 minus 12 is negative 8. And now negative m over 2 is really the same as m divided by negative 2. So I'm going to rewrite it like that, is greater than negative 8. So because m is being divided by negative 2, to get rid of it, we want to multiply both sides of our inequality by negative 2. Because we're multiplying both sides by a negative, we need to flip this inequality sign. On the left, the negative 2's cancel out. We're left with m. On the right, negative 8 times negative 2 is positive 16. So I get that m is less than 16. And we're just going to graph this. So I'll put 16, 17, and 15. And m is less than 16. It cannot equal 16, so we're going to use an open circle. And less than means we're going to shade to the left. So moving on to example 4, we have 3/4 k plus 1 is greater than or equal to 13. So reverse order of operation tells us to get rid of this plus 1 first. So we're going to subtract 1 from both sides of our inequality. On the left side, we're left with 3/4 k. And we have greater than or equal to, and on the right side, 13 minus 1 is 12. And now because k is being multiplied by 3/4, To get rid of it, we need to divide both sides of our inequality by 3/4. On the left side, 3/4 divided by 3/4 is 1, so we're left with 1k, which is just k. And on the right side, we have 12 divided by 3/4. So now we need to remember how to divide a whole number by a fraction. So we want to change the whole number into a fraction by putting it over 1. And we're going to use keep, change, flip. So we keep 12 over 1 as it is, change division to multiplication, flip that second fraction upside down to be 4/3. And now I like to cross reduce because it saves time. I'm going to divide 12 and 3 by 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 3 divided by 3 is 1. And now I'm just going to multiply straight across. So 4 times 4 is 16. 1 times 1 is 1. So we get k is greater than or equal to 16 over 1, which is really the same as k is greater than or equal to 16. And finally, I'll just graph this quickly. So we'll put 16, 17, 15. K is greater than or equal to 16, so because it can equal 16, we're going to put a closed circle, and because it's greater than, we're going to shade it to the right. All right, let's go through 2 more examples just to make sure we've got this down. So for these last 2 examples, I encourage you guys to pause the video and try them on your own, and then you can unpause the video and watch me work through them to make sure that you solve them correctly. So taking a look at example 5, we have -6 minus 5w is less than or equal to 24. So we're going to start by getting rid of this -6, and to get rid of a -6, we're going to add 6 to both sides. On the left side, we're left with -5w is less than or equal to, and on the right side, 24 plus 6 is 30. Now, because -5 is being multiplied by w, to get rid of it, we're going to divide both sides by -5. But remember, because we're dividing both sides by negative, we need to flip our inequality sign. On the left side, -5 divided by -5 is 1, so we're left with a 1w, which is the same as w. And on the right side, 30 divided by -5 is -6. So we get w is greater than or equal to -6, and we're just going to graph our solution. So I'll put -6, -5, and -7. W can equal -6, so we're going to put a closed circle at -6, and it can be anything greater than that as well, so we're going to shade it to the right. And finally, taking a look at our last example, number 6, we have 4/5 n plus 6 is greater than 26. So reverse order of operations tells us to get rid of this plus 6 first. We're going to do the inverse, which is subtracting 6 from both sides of our inequality. On the left, we're left with 4/5 n. And on the right, 26 minus 6 is 20. And now because 4/5 is being multiplied by n, to get rid of it, we want to divide both sides by 4/5. On the left side, 4/5 divided by 4/5 is 1, so we're left with 1n, which is n. And on the right side, we have 20 divided by 4/5. And now remember, to divide a whole number by a fraction, you're going to change the whole number into a fraction by putting it over 1. And now we're going to keep, change, flip. So we keep 20 over 1 as it is, change division to multiplication, flip that second fraction to be 5 over 4, and now I'm going to cross reduce. I'm going to divide 20 and 4 by 4. 20 divided by 4 is 5. 4 divided by 4 is 1. Multiply straight across. 5 times 5 is 25. 1 times 1 is 1. And 25 over 1 is just 25. So we get that n is greater than 25. And finally, we are just going to plot this quickly on a number line. So 25, 26, and 24. N is greater than 25. It cannot equal 25. So we're going to put an open circle at 25. And greater than tells us to shade to the right. So that's how we graph n is greater than 25. So hopefully this video helped you guys learn how to solve two-step inequalities. You just need to remember that you solve them pretty much the same way as you solve equations, but you just have to remember that one key rule with inequalities, that is, you want to flip the inequality sign when you multiply or divide both sides of the inequality by a negative number.